Hello, my name is Wahid Lutfi. Today I'm going to continue on the class and objects for Python object-oriented programming. And as you can see on my slideshow, I'm going to start the slideshow here. Last time I did mention about the players class here. This players class had about 5 or 6 different instances of players, which were these 5 plus Ronaldinho and also Ronaldinho we added, and Ronaldo, the Brazilian players. Today we're going to add another player, which is the greatest of all time also. God bless him, he passed away well, at age 69, I believe. And then 2016 he passed away. His name is Johan Cruyff from Netherlands. This is the game that he played against Germany, and then they lost in a controversial penalty kick at the end there. And this is against Germany in 1974. And the goalie Submeyer is catching the ball, and John Cruyff is in front of him. So we're going to discuss this one. And then just to show you before I do this one, this is John Cruyff again on all those, and his name is Hendrik Johan Cruyff. And you can see that I wrote it John Cruyff like this. Most people in English, they write John Cruyff, but it's a Johan Cruyff there. And then there's different way of writing the names here on Dutch, and then also on English and Brazilians. All these players that we're writing them, the names on the class that I defined them. Unfortunately, I cannot just have everybody's full name. I have to have first name and last name, and then based on that one I wrote the class. So if there is some names that is I'm using the nickname as the last name, like Maradona or Messi, rather than Lionel is his first name and Messi is the last name, forgive me about that one, and you're welcome to do your research on it for the names like Neymar Jr. But a lot of the names are very long, and then like Pele's name, Edson, and then there's a very long name. So any of those names, please make sure that if you're confused with first name, last name, just look it up, and then you will find out different pages give you different Wikipedia information about the concise name there. So without further ado, I'm going to show you two things today. First, I'm on a Linux machine here today. And then if you could see that cat etc os-release, it is showing that I'm on Ubuntu 20.04 long-term support. And if I do a uname -o, it also tells me that I'm on a GNU Linux version, which is the Linux Ubuntu version. So at this time, I'm going to clear my screen and then do a uname-o is good enough for short. And then I say calendar. So I'm working on a Sunday, December 25th, to make this video for you on a Unix platform. And the date, as you can see, is December 25th. But this is a Unix machine. I don't have on this directory anything with players.py. So you can see that it says cannot access players.py yet. Because of this date, I don't have it. In order to get it, I'm going to open a command prompt on Windows, which is this one. As you can see, when I open a command prompt here, I'm going to just put this one, for example, right here is good enough. Then you can see that the other one is Unix, and then I'm going to just have that much. That's good enough. Uname, and then this one is Microsoft Windows version 10.0. So I demo it last time from the demo directory. I demo it from the demo directory. So clearing the screen here, do a dir players.py. You can see on a Windows machine, I have players.py. How do I know I'm on a Windows machine? Yeah, this c:/demo plus if I type in CMD itself, it's going to just show up open version 10. And once I type in exit, it's going to just keep me to the last one. If I exit out now, it's going to close it. So I'm going to just open one more time and show you that I'm on a Windows machine here. I'm going to resize it. That's not a problem here. And then I'm going to go this time cd to c:/demo. I don't have to cd/, and I don't have to do that when I could do that. So dir of players.py, it shows me there the directory of the players.py file. which is a Python program. If I do a type clears.py and then do a more after it, and then you can see for the first lines, everything is there. It will show the files, but you don't see any carriage return and new line characters here. And I'm going to show you when you send this one into a Unix machine, you will have the carriage return on it, as well as new line character, which on some utilities is invisible. You cannot see them. Like on this one, if I just open it with the notepad, for example, clears.py, you could see that there's no new line characters here showing or carriage return here. So if I exit out of these ones and then I say more clears.py, you cannot see the carriage return on this one. So on the Windows, you can not look at the content of it that way. Maybe there's a command like cat command. The type command has some arguments that you can pass on, but I'm not familiar with that command and I don't want to investigate. I don't need to. I just know that I can just work with it on Windows platform. And if I need to send this file to Unix, I know what to do with it. So at this time, I'm going to clear my screen again. I'm going to send this file clears to .py to my Unix machine. So in order to do that, I use the scopy utility. Scopy stands for secure copy. Secure copy, then I'm going to give the name of the file that I want to copy as source. And then the destination, I'm going to put it on MyWebUniversity.com. And then a particular directory here, wlutfi, programs, Python, and then a dot, meaning that write it to the same name. So it's prompting me for a password. I type in the password. And then once I type in the password, the file is sent. And now that says 100% send, I'm done with Windows file here. So here, when we were looking at it, notice I'm on that directory that where I send that file. So if I just up arrow here with the ls-l, now that file as of December 25th, that just came in. So if I do a shorter name, clears.py, you can see that file is there. But notice the file is not executable. It is read, write by the owner and then the group, and read by others. So the file is not executable. So if I just say right here, say clears.py, it's not going to say run it. And if I change the permission, obviously I have to run it with the Python version. But I'm going to show you a number of ways to look at this file. So clearing my screen again here. Now, the Unix version of clear screen is not CLS, it's clear. If you want to just do a CLS, you can say alias CLS is equal clear. And now I could type in clear. So alias CLS is just now having the command clear screen here. Similarly, with the alias, I want to just show you what the alias. So if I do a man pwd, you will see the manual pages as this. And if you just want to say alias woman, woman is equal man, because men and women are equal. So you could say women pwd and it will work. Sorry, women, I have to do women pwd the way I create the alias. If I just create a alias called alias woman is equal man, then I say woman pwd and then it works. It doesn't have to be pwd. You could say woman ls. You can say woman clear screen. So all of the commands that you could do, you could just do the same thing. And if you just say an alias like alias now give you all the aliases. So if you don't want a women here, you could just say an alias women. So this is just a little bit information here on the clears.py showing that file is there. Now, if I just vi improve vim on clears.py, and then I open it, you can see on line 1 through line whatever it is on the last line, you can see the 8 or 86, 89 lines. You can see all of these ones. There's carriage return everywhere at the end of all these lines. But if I say set the list here, you can see all these $sign there. That is $sign, but it is also a carriage return in front of that one. It should be only $sign carriage /n. But how do I know that one? If I just say 1 comma $sign substitute Control V, and then as soon as I type in Control V, it is giving me like not the information that I want to replace to it. So within this, you cannot replace it, all those carriage return accurately. Also, I want on pillars.py, as I told you, that you can run different utilities and you can just get the details on this file. So octal down minus C, meaning show me in characters, will show you the carriage return in new line characters. As you can see, everywhere that has this carriage return and then carriage return new line characters, you can see that, for example, here there's at the end of the line, at the end of the line. And sometimes it is just carriage return and then the next line is new line because of the address. That doesn't matter, but it is just showing you that information. So if you do a more on this one from the top, you can see after this, there's a carriage return here and then carriage return and a new line character. When I say carriage return is this one, this is new line character. We should have on the UNIX side only new line characters. And then clearing the screen now, this time I do cat minus EA and then pillars. Minus EA is everything and all. So you can just see that when you do that one, these files are showing control M characters with followed by the $sign. So sometimes on the Vim, you could go and edit it and then get rid of the control characters. But I will show you a better way, an easier way that is already utility written for this one on Unix platform and Linux platform. It's called dos2unix, and I already installed it on this machine. So I'm going to show you two things here. Let me clear the screen here, and then I say pillars.py. I'm going to back up this file called copy pillars.py and then pillars.py.back. Because I backed it up using the cp command on Unix, now the files are the same. These two files, when I do a diff on them, there are no differences. It's just exactly the same thing. ls-ld of those ones that will show the size of them are the same here. And if ls by name, ls just two names here without -ld, so you can see it also here that these files are basically there's no difference. So if I do echo def here, the two files, you can see echo $? Return 0, meaning there was no differences successfully in the command, but that did not find anything to show us difference. So now what I'm going to do is go into Python first, and then say Python 3. So first, let's see which Python version we have. Python 3 is the version. Which Python 3? If I do which Python, it is also showing Python, but user bin Python -- version is 3.10. So if I do ls-ld user bin Python 3 and user bin Python itself, the two are there, but I made symbolic link of this one to be pointing to Python 3, so I don't have to worry about if I type in whether I type in Python. Whether I type in Python here, it will just take me there, or I type in Python 3, it will take me there. Okay, so I first let's clear the screen here and then do ls-ld pillars.py. At this time, before I convert it from DOS to Unix, I want to show you some of the reason why you want to convert it and versus why you don't want to convert it. So if you get this program called pillars.py, and then you want to just say Python 3, you get in there and say import pillars. As soon as you do import, this code works. There's no problem with compatibility between Linux and Windows because of those control M characters. It did understood it. So this is number one, that you can just run it like this and then get it. And then now if I say dir of pillars, you can just see all the objects that are there, including the pillars here. And if I say type pillars, just the print of it is it's a module, because we have a module that we import there. And if I say print type, not type actually, print pillars dot _, you can see that this one is basically telling you that you load it from /home/wlutfi Python players.py directory, and it is a source file loader that is coming. It's not a built-in. And opposite of that one, if I say import math, and I say print the math.double_spec, and then you can see that once you look at the spec of that one, it says there's a built-in importer, and the original built-in, as you can see that one. The other one says original is a home directory of myself with players.py as the file name. So you can see the difference. I'm going to show you the doc stuff also here. Since we did the doc on the program, I'm going to say print players doc double_. So this is giving me the doc string. I just missed the R here, players, and then it will just display the doc string here. As you can see, print players.doc, and it will tell you all the details of the doc string. So I'm going to quit from here. I'm going to come back on this screen. Now I say players star. You saw that the two files are there. One is the backend, the other one. So I'm going to do a vim on the players.py, and I'm going to put on the first line, I'm going to do shebang user ben env, and then Python 3. I could type in Python, it's okay, or Python 3 is okay. And then, so I save this file. Now I do a diff. If I do ls-ld again, -ld, you can see that one file is a little bit longer, this one, in terms of size, you can see. And then what I could do is difference between players.py and then players.py.back. You can see that the line 1 was added on the players.py, and then that is showing that is the difference between the two. And then P6 get email, and that information on this one is also there, but no new line ended. That's the difference on the second one. But let's check it out here. At this time, why did I modify it with user bench shebang env? So if I just say run this players.py, just to run it, it says permission denied. The reason it is saying permission denied players.py, because on Unix, this file has to be executable. If you are the owner, this X is not missing, the executable bit is missing. The same thing here. So if I'm running as ID wlutfi, then I need to say u plus x players.py, and now I just made it for the user player X executable. Everybody else is not having the writable. If I want everybody to have it writable, change mode 755. 7 is making read, write, execute on this one. 5 is read and executable, but not writable by the group. But if I want the group also, which is myself, is again 7, and then I could do that one. And then the last one, 5, 775. So 775, but then you have to give the name of the file that you want to change the permission. So now you can see that it is executable there. And then if I make it back to what it was, I can say 644 players.py, and then change mode, no such file or directory. Okay, players again, R is missing. So clearing the screen, ls-ld players.py. You can see that this is what it was originally. So file of players.py. If I just look at this one, it says it's a Python script. But if I just run it, as I showed you earlier, it's not gonna say run it. So in order to do it, I'm gonna do change mode u plus x. So only give myself the permission, and then that would do players.py here. And notice that at this time, even though I did that work, the carriage return is recognized as this one is not understood there. If I just vim the file, players.py, on the first line, you can see if I say set list, you can see I only see $. So there's no carriage return. But here, it tells you that you have a carriage return here. So in order to fix that one, you can also do a octal -c players.py, and then head -5 to see the first 5 line octal dump players. So you can see that there's a carriage return here. After user Benny and V, there's carriage return right there under Python and 3/r/n. And if I just do the equivalent of that command, say with the cat -ea, and just only look at the, not too many of them, only the first 2 lines, you can see there's a control M characters here and control M characters. So this control M characters or carriage return characters, if I run it with pillars, is causing problem. But if I go to Python 3 and then say import pillars, it is working. It is not complaining, as you can see. So let's quit this one and fix the problem with Python 3. And if I just do a diff on pillars with py and then pillars.py.back, it tells me those lines are different. So now I'm going to correct this one with the carriage return. Let's correct that one. And the utility that I'm going to use is called dos2unix. This is the old Unix kind of converter utility that it's going to take the carriage returns and modify it to Unix/new line characters. So you can do it with set and a lot of utilities. I have done it in Unix platform, Red Hat platform. On Ubuntu, somehow, maybe because of certain things that you do on the term guy and do that one, we can just try it on the setting up the extra term and do it in VI. See, if I do it with xterm, let's see the vim pillars.py. So if I just want to see set a list, you can see that's not showing it. But then I'm going to just say export term is equal VT100, and then I'll do the vim, and then I say set list, and it's still kind of like not sure that if that is having a new line character or not. So I'll just leave it at that, and then go back to my screen and say export term is equal xterm. So that was not helping because of the changing. So now let's fix it with dos2unix. And then pillars.start is the 2 files out. These are the 2 files. So in order to do this one, you say which dos2unix, and then you need sudo to install dos2unix if it's not there. As you saw that cat etc os-release was showing Ubuntu, that means you need like a sudo apt install and then dos2unix. This command would say, okay, I'm using the application package toolkit of Ubuntu, and then I'm passing install argument, and then the utility or the package that I want to install is dos2unix. So if I do this one, dos2unix is going to prompt me for the password. And since I have already installed it, it's going to try and it's going to say this utility is already installed. So let's see, look at it. Right here, I wrote the command, and then it's trying and says dos2unix already installed. The version is 7.402. So we don't need to install it. And if you don't have it installed, you could just use this command sudo apt install and then dos2unix, and it will install it. Once it's installed, you say which dos2unix it is there. Now I do pillars.py. So I'm going to modify that file from dos2unix. Remember, the reason I'm modifying it is this. Pillars.py is going to say carriage return. This carriage return is causing the problems. So in order for me to do it, I have to be inside the Python interpreter or loaded in. If I'm running it from command line, because I'm telling on the first line, use shebang user like add -1 pillars.py. This one, I'm saying that use shebang user Benny and V to load the interpreter Python 3. Then it's reading this carriage return. It says no such file or directory, because it is thinking that I'm trying to load Python 3/carriage return rather than Python 3 itself. So in order to fix that one, we say dos2unix. Since that utility is there, we gave the input as pillars.py. So that program takes one argument in the name of the program that you want to convert it. from DOS to Unix, and that's what the output is. If I just go now again with the uppercase arrow command here, now you can see ls-ld players.py and players star. The two files are there, and then if I do diff between players.py and players.py.back, you can see there's a lot of lines that was carriage return was there. It is no longer there. So this diff and then echo $? Is going to just say one, which is meaning that I found a lot of differences. So let's just look at the players.py, and then now we say head -1 players.py, and then do a more. You can see there's no carriage return here anymore. But on the players.py.back, which is a backup file, we do see, we didn't have the line there at all. Whatever we want to do is, if I do octal -c players.py, you can see that there's no carriage return here. It's only new line character. And similarly, if I do them on the players.py, all of these utilities set list is not going to just show the control M characters or carriage return characters anymore. cat -ea players.py, it's all good. You can see that there's no control M as it was showing before. So now that means that this players.py or ls players.py, since it's executable here is set, I could just say, go ahead, run. Before it was saying that carriage return was there, and now it's going to just run it. So players.py, and it does. So let me clear the screen because I had a extension missing. And then this is the name, and then this is the list of the file with executable, and you say players.py. Now it is just using Python. I'm still on Unix machine. I did not go inside this time uname-a. It is not, I can run commands. I'm not inside the interpreter. So by doing that head grep -i, not grep -i, let's say head -1 players.py, by doing this line, you're just saying that don't get me into a Python interpreter, just run this code and stay back into the prompt of Unix. But if you don't do that one, you can say Python 3, now you say import players, then that's a different things that you're doing. Let's just exit out of here. So now I'm going to go to the second part of this program. We already run it on Windows, and then we already test this one on Windows. Yeah, we already tested on Windows. So doing a slideshow here again, start from the beginning. And this one was already shown as examples on the previous video. I'm going to just show you some more on adding another players on this one on the Linux platform. So let's do that one and show you some more details of how you could look at this object and classes in Linux platform. So now we have on this directory, we have players.py. I'm going to say get to Python 3 first, and then say dir. When I do dir, now you see there's no class called, there's no module loaded as Python players. The name players is not there. So I'm going to say, in order to load it, I'm going to say import players. And I don't give extension because when you're loading a module, you just gave the name of the module. And as soon as you load it, it's just running it. It's creating PyCache files, and then it just create this objects as well. So at this time, it created all the objects, but this time if I do a dir, notice in addition to all these other objects that were previously there, we have another module called players. These ones are not object. These are kind of double underscore method or special method or magic method, we call it. One of them is like a doc, and then another one is spec. So players, if you look at this one, say, what is that one? Let's say print type of players. If I look at the type of that one, it says is a module. It is inside that module, we have defined a class called a class also. Now, if I do a dir of players, and then we could say, go ahead, give me the dir of pillars. Then this is going to say inside the directory of this module, we have a class called pillars, and we have a lot of objects as called P1 or through P6. Each of those ones are persons, or we can just say pillar that are instance of class pillars or object of a class pillars. So inside here, I could say also print type of pillars dot pillars. So this one, it says a type. Type is equivalent to a class because this part is a class actually. So if I say give me the type of this one dot P1, then we could see that this one says as no attribute of P1. So at this time, what we do is that P2 or P1, and the way it is defined is an object of pillars. So we need to just say do a type of this, and that would say P1 is a object of pillars class and pillars module. And similarly, if I do the same thing for P2 and similarly for P3 on all of those ones that are there. If a object does not have any class like P7, for example, is not there, and it's going to say module pillars has no attribute P7. So at this time, we need to create a P7. If I do say P7 here, P7 is equal, and then say pillars, like we did it on the other ones, and say, let's say, I'm going to say first name as John, and then last name as Crive. Let's say Crive like that. And then we just do this one. It says module object is not callable because the pillars itself is a module. We need to point to the class of that object, the class of that module. So in order to do that one, we have to do a pillars dot pillars, and now P7 is understood. So this time we create it. Now we say dir of P7. Notice when we do dir of P7, all the methods that we have created, and those methods are already here and there, as well as the attribute, email, first name, and then last name, all of that one are there. So we could just say print P7 dot pillars dot pillar underscore info, and then in this one we are going to type in let's see pillars dot P7, and we need another pillars here dot pillars, because from that module it is let me just see dir of P7. Okay, so we have P7. If we say print P7, it's gonna say this is a pillars dot pillars object. So the way you could do this one, it says P7 dot pillars dot get full name, and then that will return. No, I just type in something here. Pillars object has no attribute. Get, yeah. So pillar 7 is right after that object, right here, P7. What's going on here? Let me just double check on this one. So I'm going to say pillar dir of P7 is there, and then say print P7 dot last name. If I get the last name here, and then the same thing with first name, I'm getting, let's say, email. It is showing all of that, and then now I need to do the player's full name. So dot player info, and then the method name. Yeah, that I must have typed some inaccurate argument. I did not need this information. That's what was missing. So here you have it, and then you can just do whatever you want to do with those information. So if I just do a print on the if string here, I could just say last name Then Crive was the last name, was Crive was the L name. So we could just say L name, but we have to say p7.l name, last name. And then also, then we could say first name, and then we could just say here p7.first name, and then also followed by email address. We could say email address. Let's say email address, and then p7.email. That would just give you the email, and then close that fs string. Then we do this one. Now it's going to print that information here. But if you say, well, this is a lot of information on one line, I want to break it into each one of them on a separate, yeah, you could do that. A new line character here, and then a new line character here, and just a very flexible fs string. And you could just do that one and multiple lines here in a nice format. So what other things you can do here is that you could create another object, p8, for example. P8 is equal, you're going to say plur dot plurs, and then just say, for example, first name is Neymar, Neymar Junior, and then second last name is Neymar. Usually their first name is something like De Santos. I mean, doesn't matter, you can search it up. What you could do is that also you could use the nickname as their last name. So P8, and this one, we're just creating that one. Now P8 is, dir of P8 is going to show us the same objects that are there. So since we did this one, now notice how easy it is that code reusability part of the printf statement. We could just point to the player 8, which is Neymar, and get the player 8 information here for that information here. Sorry, player 8.email. Oh, player 9, what happened? Did I wrote that? So here a typo. I meant 8 and I just accidentally pressed on 9. So that is going to show Neymar.